Hi. How's everybody? Hello. Welcome to Frankenstein Tea, a daily short story program from the Island Free Library, brought to you by moi, Kristen. I'm the library director at the Island Free Library on Block Island. And Frankenstein Tea is a short story program for adult listeners. I read adult stories by authors who write for adults. There's adult themes, topics, language, content, all that stuff. It's adults. This is for adults. Although today's short story is probably a good read for young adults and teens as well, maybe even some tweens. But generally, this is an adult short story program, and I welcome you. It is Tuesday, January 12th, 2021. It is, it's Tuesday, but it's, in our world here at the library, it's a Monday. This is the first day of our work week. We're closed Sunday, Mondays. And so, feels like a Monday, that very like Monday-like feel, like your emails are logged and, chock full, and you got to catch up on things and get your week started and make your plan, and what's this week going to bring, and where did we end last week, and where are we at, and who's here and who's on first, and all that stuff. So feeling like a Monday to me, even though it's Tuesday. Happy that the sun is out. Happy that we had a beautiful warm start to the day. I imagine it's starting to get chillier as the day wears on. It is after 3. That's usually, the end of the warmest part of the day. But it's still sunny, and I hope you're sitting in a sunny window, and that you have some tea with you, or some water, or maybe your first sip of an adult cocktail for the day. Whatever your pleasure is, whatever feels good to you, I hope you enjoy it. I hope you take this as a time out from your day, maybe a time out from the news, or a time out from your chores or your job, or maybe you do those things and listen, multitask your way through this short story. There's my dad saying hi. Hi, Dad. Okay, so today I'm going to read Langston Hughes' short story, and it is not over 100 years old, as it was as it is a Langston Hughes short story, and he did not live 100 years ago. Not quite, not yet. But I'm still going to read it. I mention those things because that doesn't always mean they're permissible reads as far as copyright. But folks who follow this program know that I offer these stories in the spirit of librarianship, and that perhaps you've never heard of Langston Hughes or read a Langston Hughes story, or perhaps you have, but you're happy to be reminded of that. So, it's about exposure to new authors and new styles and own voice. And so I break the rules, and I do that with that in that vein. So here I go, breaking the rules. And I do have my kooky computer glasses on, so I know they give like this weird blue tint, but that's me. See, it's really just me. And I'm going to go over to another screen and print this in an effort to save paper. And it also makes me feel that it's somewhat legal and not breaking copyright rules, because I found this PDF on the internet. It's the act of me making the recording which pushes it a little. Anyway, I'm on that page, and I am going to read this, and I hope you sit back and enjoy. This is Langston Hughes. This short story is titled, "Thank You, Ma'am." She was a large woman with a large purse that had everything in it but hammer and nails. It had a long strap, and she carried it slung across her shoulder. It was about 11 o'clock at night, and she was walking alone when a boy ran up behind her and tried to snatch her purse. The strap broke with the single tug the boy gave it from behind. But the boy's weight and the weight of the purse combined caused him to lose his balance. So, instead of taking off full blast, as he had hoped, the boy fell on his back on the sidewalk and his legs flew up. The large woman simply turned around and kicked him right square in his blue-jeaned sitter. Then she reached down, picked the boy up by his shirt front, and shook him until his teeth rattled. After that, the woman said, "Pick up my pocketbook, boy, and give it here." She still held him, but she bent down enough to permit him to stoop and pick up her purse. Then she said, "Now, ain't you ashamed of yourself?" Firmly gripped by his shirt front, the boy said, "Yes'm." The woman said, "What did you want to do it for?" The boy said, "I didn't aim to." She said, "You a lie." By that time, 2 or 3 people passed, stopped, turned to look, and some stood watching. "If I turn you loose, will you run?" asked the woman. "Yes'm," said the boy. "Then I won't turn you loose," said the woman. She did not release him. "I'm very sorry, lady, I'm sorry," whispered the boy. "Uh-huh. And your face is dirty. I got a mind to wash your face for you. Ain't you got nobody home to tell you to wash your face?" "No," said the boy. "Then it will get washed this evening," said the large woman, starting up the street, dragging the frightened boy behind her. He looked as if he were 14 or 15, frail and willow wild, in tennis shoes and blue jeans. The woman said, "You ought to be my son. I would teach you right from wrong. Least I can do right now is to wash your face. Are you hungry?" "No," said the being dragged boy. "I just want you to turn me loose." "Was I bothering you when I turned that corner?" asked the woman. "No." "But you put yourself in contact with me," said the woman. "If you think that that contact is not going to last a while, you got another thought coming. When I get through with you, sir, you are going to remember Miss Luella Bates Washington Jones." Sweat popped out on the boy's face and he began to struggle. Mrs. Jones stopped, jerked him around in front of her, put a half Nelson about his neck, and continued to drag him up the street. When she got to her door, she dragged the boy inside, down a hall, and into a large kitchenette furnished room at the rear of the house. She switched on the light and left the door open. The boy could hear other roomers laughing and talking in the large house. Some of their doors were open too, so he knew he and the woman were not alone. The woman still had him by the neck in the middle of her room. She said, "What is your name?" "Roger," answered the boy. "Then, Roger, you go to that sink and wash your face," said the woman, whereupon she turned him loose at last. Roger looked at the door, looked at the woman, looked at the door, and went to the sink. "Let the water run until it gets warm," she said. "Here's a clean towel." "You going to take me to jail?" asked the boy, bending over the sink. "Not with that face. I would not take you nowhere," said the woman. "Here I am trying to get home to cook me a bite to eat, and you snatch my pocketbook. Maybe you ain't been to your supper either, late as it be. Have you?" "There's nobody home at my house," said the boy. "Then we'll eat," said the woman. "I believe you're hungry, or been hungry, or try to snatch my pocketbook." "I wanted a pair of blue suede shoes," said the boy. "Well, you didn't have to snatch my pocketbook to get some suede shoes," said Mrs. Luella Bates Washington Jones. "You could have asked me." "Ma'am?" The water dripping from his face, the boy looked at her. There was a long pause, a very long pause. After he had dried his face and not knowing what else to do, dried it again, the boy turned around, wondering what next. The door was open. He could make a dash for it down the hall. He could run, 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 run. The woman was sitting on the daybed. After a while, she said, "I were young once, and I wanted things I could not get." There was another long pause. The boy's mouth opened, then he frowned, but not knowing, he frowned. The woman said, "Uh-huh. You thought I was going to say, but didn't you? You thought I was going to say, but I didn't snatch people's pocketbooks. Well, I wasn't going to say that." Pause. Silence. "I have done things too, which I would not tell you, son, neither tell God if he didn't already know. So you sit down while I fix us something to eat. You might run that comb through your hair so you look presentable." In another corner of the room, behind a screen, was a gas plate and an icebox. Mrs. Jones got up and went behind the screen. The woman did not watch the boy to see if he was going to run now, nor did she watch her purse, which she left behind her on the daybed. But the boy took care to sit on the far side of the room where he thought she could easily see him out of the corner of her eye, if she wanted to. He did not trust the woman not to trust him, and he did not want to be mistrusted now. "Do you need somebody to go to the store?" asked the boy. "Maybe to get some milk or something?" "Don't believe I do," said the woman, "unless you just want sweet milk yourself. I was going to make cocoa out of this canned milk I got here." "That will be fine," said the boy. She heated some lima beans and ham she had in the icebox, made the cocoa, and set the table. The woman did not ask the boy anything about where he lived or his folks or anything else that would embarrass him. Instead, as they ate, she told him about her job in a hotel beauty shop that stayed open late, what the work was like, and how all kinds of women came in and out, blondes and redheads. Then she cut him half of her 10-cent cake. "Eat some more, son," she said. When they were finished eating, she got up and said, "Now, here, take this $10 and buy yourself some blue suede shoes. And next time, do not make the mistake of latching onto my pocketbook, nor nobody else's, because shoes come by devilish like that will burn your feet. I got to get my rest now, but I wish you would behave yourself, son, from here on in." She led him down the hall to the front door and opened it. "Good night. Behave yourself, boy," she said, looking out into the street. The boy wanted to say something else other than "Thank you, ma'am," to Mrs. Luella Bates Washington Jones, but he couldn't do so as he turned at the barren stoop and looked back at the large woman in the door. He barely managed to say "thank you" before she shut the door, and he never saw her again. Langston Hughes, "Thank you, ma'am." I saw somewhere, it's not this copy. I didn't like reading this copy. There was a couple of typos there. The copy I read earlier today read much nicer, so I apologize for that. It's always a funny thing, right? On my other computer, it comes right up. On this computer, I can't even find it. I don't know. That's all that crazy, how the internet works and how it's really corrupting us. But That's for a different day, not for us to discuss today. But I can't remember if I read that he wrote that in 1930 or 1950. But I believe it was one of those two dates, somewhere in there. Not really sure. I feel like 1950 is a better guess, that he maybe wasn't writing in 1930, but I'm not really sure when Langston Hughes lived. But that was him today. That's it's a well-known short story of his. The copy that I read today is from a school students, and they have some follow-up questions here at the end. What happens when Roger tries to steal Mrs. Jones's purse? What can you infer about Mrs. Jones's first reaction to Roger? Your face is dirty. What does that infer? Interesting things that kids would have been asked. So I guess it isn't really a short story program. That was a young adult program. But I hope everyone enjoyed it. Okay, I'm off for today. Back to my Monday, Tuesday workload behind me. I hope everyone's well. Remember to wear your mask, wash your hands, keep your distance, eat your vegetables, get some sleep. Be kind to yourself. Think kind thoughts of yourself and of others. Get outside. Breathe fresh air. I'll see you tomorrow. Peace. Thanks for coming. Bye, Dad.